Submission. So for the Pico Iyer, the Global Soul, we're going to be reviewing chapter 1 to 4. First of all, my name is Fernanda. I'm originally from Brazil and I moved to the US when I was 19 years old. And since then, I've been able to experience a whole new culture. I see myself as a global soul, following Pico's definition. So, starting with the burning house, on the question 12 about loss and transformation, he sees the burning house as a metaphor to symbolize the marginalized cultures, and especially immigrants, when the culture ends up being erased by a dominant culture. So there's a lot of, when they move to a new country, they end up losing their tradition or the language, end up having the fragments of their home and identity of what they used to be, the culture. So for the sentence, I chose to paraphrase and say, I look like I belong in one country, sound like I belong in another, and live like I belong in a third. Yet, I feel like each place, it feels like foreign to me. On chapter 2, he uses airport as a metaphor for globalization, where the identity is being shaped by movement. So there's a contrast between mobility and permanence, and he uses this transient spaces to show the new identity that is becoming. Airports become a symbolic hometown, so there is a temporary sense of belonging because they are constructed to facilitate the movement. As you can see on this picture about Hong Kong airport, where it shows those signs in English as well to help the stores to locate themselves. So this is a globalized sense of self, where people are always transitioning without even belonging somewhere that will experience the culture. The global marketplace, Hong Kong, on the chapter, Hong Kong is viewed as a digital preview of the future. So it contrasts the identity, the sense of identity and belonging, and I chose to explore a little bit about homogenization and commodification. And homogenization is a process in which the culture is becoming more alike, often due to the globalization and global brands, especially. And you will see the traditional dances being performed for tourists. You see a lot of big brands, global brands, and cities branding themselves as global hubs. We can cite Times Square, for example, as a big commercial space filled with advertisements. And on this picture of Hong Kong Mall, you see that a lot of American brands, especially like Levi's on the left side, Steve Madden. So you see how the effect of the homogenization here, and the commodification as well. So people feel comfort and familiar. They can orient themselves easily, but at the same time, you start to fade. The local culture starts to fade away. So we have weaker ties to the history and the place as well. And the multicultural, in Toronto, he used Toronto to show that they have a less fixed identity, and people can feel very open and free to express themselves and try to find a place where they belong. But this is also not deep rooted, which means that they can participate in the culture but not feel like they belong there, because differently than feeling at home and having a home, which means that you have deeper roots in a shared history. You can see having a family there with traditionals, for example. So I is using the repetition to highlight this emotional ambiguity and explore the identity of having a home and just feeling at home. I feel like Toronto explores, instead of having an ancestry, they explore the idea of identity being shaped by embracing the culture which you're more familiar with. And the macro level is what I already mentioned, that the migrants may feel welcome but feel like they do not fully belong that place. This will be the end for me, so thank you for watching. Bye.